Something terrific and something terrible happened last night, and they all happened in the same game. So it's the Warriors, the Timberwolves. It's game one of this second-round series. Going to pick this thing up early second quarter, and here, Jay Williams, here is Steph just doing his dance.
I mean, he gets going. But by the way, why isn't Anthony Edwards guarding Steph Curry?
He started hot. Steph had 13 early points, and then here comes the bad news. So you're going to see DiVincenzo with the miss. Now just watch Steph. As he's bringing it up, something not right. You could just see something's not right. He's grabbing it. He's wincing. He's moving around. Pay no attention to where the ball winds up. Just watch Steph. He's eventually going to ask out of the game, Jay Will, what do you see?
He still scores.
Yeah, he
still scores.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy that has so many relocations and constant activity, the hamstring injury is a defining moment in this season.
He would leave. He would not return. He'll have an MRI today. We'll talk more about it later. Meanwhile, Draymond picking up the slack in his absence. He had 16 at the half. The Warriors are up 13 at the half. Third quarter, more of the same. Anthony Edwards, no. We're going the other way. Jay Will, how good a week is Buddy Hield having?
I mean, just an incredible series last series and knocking down shots after having a slow start.
That one gives the Warriors a 20-point lead. And then Jimmy Butler, someone tell me how this goes in. Throws up the prayer.
You're going to hear a whistle.
He's got 20 points for Butler on the night. Warriors by 16. Anthony Edwards, meanwhile, as you say, had a quiet night. We're early in the fourth. He's down 15 points. Here's one of the highlights from him. Again, did not have a ton of them. That one plus the foul. He would score 23.
0 for 9, though, right? To start the game, 0 for 10?
That's
one
right.
point in the first half.
And this would be the only three he would make. 1 of 5 from three-point range. Timberwolves get within 9, but anytime they had a question, the Warriors had an answer. Buddy Hield, bang, he would score 24. Warriors get the win. So an impressive performance in that second half without their superstar. Golden State up 1-0, but the story is Steph.
I talked to him at halftime. Just, he's obviously crushed, but, the guys picked him up and played a great game. And obviously we're all, concerned about Steph, but it's part of the game. You just, guys get hurt and you move on. Our guys did a great job of moving on and getting a great win.
He was a little deflated, but he didn't try not to show it. He was just in the locker room, waiting on guys to come in, continuing to show that support, saying what he saw going on in the game, but it was a tough one.
Okay, so and Monica McNutt jumps in with us from Boston, and Jay Will is here. And Michael, I'll start with you. Like you and I, we went to the same journalism school. I write down the words people used: crushed, concerned, tough one. We'll get an MRI today, but they sound like they think this is not going to be good.
Their demeanor, when you see Draymond like that after a win, when I saw it, my mind went immediately, those of us of a certain age, you guys aren't there yet, to Magic Johnson having to pull up with a hamstring injury.
Yep, in the finals in 89. Yes, 80 when they got swept by Detroit, yes.
And he pulls up and he puts his hand there, and they're going for a three-peat. The Lakers are. Magic, that's the whole Pat Riley coined it, and three-peat, and he couldn't go. And you're thinking, no, this postseason has gotten off to such an incredible start, and the Warriors could be the best story of all of it, the way they lose game 6, win game 7. Steph starts this game off like he's going to have one of those 40-point nights on the road. It's just, you can revel in it. And then when he pulls up like that, man. So, Jay, my mind immediately went to, okay, if he can miss games 2, 3, and even 4, if he can get back, that would give him like a week. Or am I just being ridiculous?
Well, there's a scheduling quirk. Let me point out before
they got an extra day.
There's a scheduling quirk in this because there's a WNBA game scheduled for the Warriors Arena a week from Friday. They're going to play now every other day, but then when they get to next Wednesday, they'll be off through Sunday. Game 5 of this series is next Wednesday. Game 6 is not until Sunday, and that's the one you have your eye on.
So if it's a grade 1, Mike, that's 1 to 2 weeks, and we'll see when we get the results back from the MRI. Grade 2 is anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks, which is not good. But I would keep my eye on Game 6. I think that gives him 2 weeks to do constant therapy, nonstop, 24/7 around the block. And then this way, look, for a guy that really masters strategic cardio warfare, that is who Steph Curry is. He averages 2.5 to 3 miles per game in which he runs. All the off-ball movement, cardio activity, transition activity, the backdoor cutting, that's all your hamstring. You need to give him rest. If you can get one game. I mean, by the way, this is why you got Jimmy Butler. I've seen Jimmy Butler carry teams with less talent on them. Get one. If you get it to 3-2, that Minnesota has the lead into Game 6, that's the game you want Steph to come back in.
Monica, that really, I guess, becomes the question. And I will repeat for those of you just joining us, there will be an MRI today. So we don't know exactly what the situation is with Steph. But if he does miss several games in this series, can the Warriors still win? Monica.
Well, I think you got to ask the Minnesota Timberwolves that question in many ways, because it's going to be on them to capitalize on his absence. Jay is absolutely right. We have all seen Jimmy Butler take teams to the promised land, or as close as he could possibly get them in his own strength. But it really is going to depend on how the Wolves want to show up. Are they going to take advantage of Steph not being on the floor, or will they, which I thought they did last night, have a lack of focus and not be able to put their best foot forward? Can they? Yes. But if we're honest, should they, based on who the Timberwolves have been to this point in the last series and now into this one? I do not expect that. But again, I think this falls right at the feet of Anthony Edwards.
Well, Monica, you're not the only one who feels that way. His own coach feels that way. Let me show you. Anthony Edwards, he may have finished with 23, but he struggled mightily early. He had just 1 point in the first half. He was 0 of 8 from the floor, and his coach called him out after the game.
It starts with Anthony. You know, I thought he struggled early, and then you could just kind of see the light go out a little bit for a while. You're the leader of the team, and you got to come out and set the tone.
Coach was saying that he relies on you to set the tone from the start, and he didn't quite see that. Do you feel like you were off at all just in that department, or just kind of the way you started the game?
Nah. I feel like I played great defense. I just couldn't do nothing on offense, so.
All right, Mr. Wilbon, you've been around a long time. You've heard a lot of coaches say a lot of things. I'll admit, him going there that strongly surprised me a little. What'd you think?
Great. You going to answer a challenge?
Great.
He challenged him. And look, the truly great players in any sport, but particularly NBA where regular season, the perception is we discount it. They don't, but we do. The postseason, this is when you do that thing that makes you great. More than once. That's why we're talking about Steph Curry. That's why I'm depressed over Steph pulling up last night. Because the truly great players, the middle of April to the middle of June is when you do that. And we see Ant-Man do it sometime. And the Minnesota Timberwolves still have these, to Monica's point, they have these lapses. Like all year long, I kept thinking T-Wolves, and I still think the T-Wolves have the roster in the game and now the experience from last year and the wherewithal to challenge Oklahoma City if they can keep themselves together. But after last night, you begin to wonder. Now, I expect now Minnesota, like 2 or 3 games in a row, Jay Will, to your point. They could get up 3-1. The question is, can we get Steph back? And then let's see what happens when it's time for Anthony Edwards to be truly great late in a series. What happens with James Harden? As great as James Harden is,
Game 7.
Games 5, 6, and 7 for years.
This morning.
Years.
No, you're right.
Not gotten it done.
His whole career.
And so this Ant is at the beginning of it. He's done it sort of, kind of last year, breakthrough. But now, what?
I think it's defining moments. Look, I will say this.